Welcome back, everyone, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by Betsperts. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. Happy Friday, everybody. Joining me, as always, I'm Alex Christenson, is Andy Molitor. And Andy, it's not just a Friday, it's a Fallica College Football Friday, our favorite.
It is. Yeah, some ugliness in the game last night. I believe not only that, but like my timeline was getting mixed up in Twitter because it was not only were they driving and clearly just playing for a field goal, but the Bengals were doing the same thing at the same time. So you had two separate groups of people mad about a coach deciding to settle for a field goal, and apparently that only works about half the time. Obviously, Miami took it the short. It was a no doubt cover, I guess, on the other side. We weren't too worried about that once they lined up for it, but I didn't get involved in that one, thank goodness. And yeah, we got action tonight again, and obviously a ton on Saturday.
Yeah, tonight's game is interesting, but yeah, I don't know why if you're Miami. And obviously, full disclosure for those who don't know, I am a Miami alum. Like, why you're playing for a field goal against one of the worst defenses in the Power Five with a freshman kicker when you've had over 300 yards in the half. So I didn't get it, and they probably got what they kind of deserved. But tonight's game's interesting because I think Maryland is a home underdog, might be appealing a little bit on the money line. I think it's that whole, like, is it good defense or bad offense or a little bit of both? With Iowa, you look at the Hawkeyes, like the teams they've played in total offense are 92nd, 86th, 62nd, and 42nd. And the team that's 42nd is Kent State, who boosted their numbers by playing VMI. So Maryland with Demas and Jarrett at wide receiver and Talia at quarterback, I think they got a real shot in this game. If they can start fast, I don't know if Petrus and that Iowa offense is built to come from behind. So I'd probably take a little shot with the Terps in the money line tonight.
Yeah, that's been some weird movement. We had somebody reach out and ask us a question on that. And I'm glad you touched on the game because he said, I took Iowa at 3. I was happy it went up to 4.5, and then now it's just come all the way back down to 3. And I'm interested to watch that one. And obviously, you get to this point in the season, and some of the wins don't look as good. Now, like the Iowa State win maybe wasn't as good. They were probably overrated. Iowa State doesn't have a win over a power. Yeah, what is it? Iowa State was ranked 7th preseason. And they don't have a win over a group of 5 team yet, which they're probably going to get this weekend. But it does start to put into context how some of these wins were. But you were going to touch on another Big Ten game, and this one is interesting because Wisconsin was probably a bit of a misleading final score for Wisconsin last week. Like, they were in that game. That was a really, really odd fourth quarter. And obviously Michigan took care of business.
Well, that's been the problem. Graham Mertz has been a turnover machine against Power 5 teams. He's got like 1 touchdown and 6 picks. His QPR is 8, and he just can't get out of his own way. Maybe they'll get Jalen Berger available to run the ball this week. And I had Michigan on the board last week, and I thought at halftime we were on our way. It was 20-3. It looked like it was going to be an easy cover of a big number. And then whatever Greg Schiano and his staff did at halftime, the adjustments that they made, they basically said, okay, you're not running. If Cade McNamara can beat us throwing the ball, congrats, go for it. And the second half, Michigan didn't score. Michigan didn't convert a third down. McNamara completed 1 pass for 7 yards. They were outgained like 230-42. And I think with Jimmy Leonard and that Wisconsin defense and basically a game that they have to have, that defense, which only Georgia has allowed fewer offensive touchdowns than Wisconsin this year, I like the Badgers in this game at home, only laying that 1.5.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Big Ten football, watching people doing that. I think I will have that one on. As someone who grew up as a Penn State fan, I'll be cheering against Michigan. Wisconsin is kind of the lesser of the evils there. But we have another game up here next, and I like these games. We've got Troy here going into South Carolina. Troy, obviously not the biggest school in the world, but what do you think of the Trojans' chances here getting 6.5 points against the Gamecocks?
Well, if you can get past the fact that you're taking a team that lost the game to UL Monroe last week as a 23.5-point favorite, then all is well. But at the same time, this is a defense that's played well all year long. Like, they haven't allowed 340 yards in a game this year. Last week, you just kind of have to write off as a fluke. And on the other hand, you have South Carolina, who, again, there's 3 games against FBS opponents this year. I think they scored 10, 13, and 20 points. Like, I think South Carolina's going to have to get like 28 in order to cover, and I don't know if they can. I think Troy with that defense. The good thing for them is off of the embarrassing loss last week, they get a road game against an SEC team to try and erase the memory of last week. I think it's a great spot. I like the matchup for Troy, and I'll take Troy plus the points, and I'll take a shot with the Trojans on the money line as well.
Yeah, maybe last week just a look-ahead loss kind of thing. I didn't get a chance of watching that, but you're right. It's a really surprising loss. And maybe even a South Carolina team total under, Andy. What do you think?
Yeah, that sort of stuff just happens. College just happens. These games happen every weekend where we have just awful results from some teams.
It's almost like they're kids.
Yeah, should have known better. Obviously, yeah, this is what happens when you bet on, oh, man, I can't wait. College basketball's right around the corner. Instead of banking on college kickers, I'll be banking on college field goal. And the next one we had queued up here, and I'm so glad producer Dan used this logo in the background because I don't know if you guys have seen these helmets, these throwback helmets that Boise has this weekend. Honestly, the whole Rocky Mountain region, like the Broncos put out this helmet that I love. And these are the Broncos too. The Boise State has this sick ass throwback helmet. Adjust your power rankings accordingly. They're laying 6 to Nevada, where there's some, the possibility of some, I think the quarterback is kind of iffy as far as we're getting him there or not for Nevada.
Yeah, I would expect Strong to play, and I think that might be why the line was as high as it was. But I like the Wolfpack in this game. I think it's a little bit too of a reputation line with Boise, based on how dominant they have been in this league and on their home field for so long. But remember, this is a Nevada team that has beaten Cal, and I think the fact that they were favored in Kansas State a couple of weeks back and lost the game, I think people are kind of off them now. I think you get an extra week off to kind of get that game out of your mind, and now you go to a team that's been kind of the king of your conference for the last decade or so. I think it's a great spot for Nevada, assuming Carson Strong is okay in this.
Yeah, looking in the chat, our buddy Lake Show Magazine agrees. That sounds like a nice spot. And you do have to wonder, teams like Boise State, how long they get credit for things they've done in years past. And I like that quite a bit. And the next game we have on, it's not quite Pac-12 after dark, but the later night Pac-12 game, Washington State playing against Cal. Washington State catching 7.5 points in Cal. What do you think happens there?
I think this is a blowout. I think Cal wins this game easily. Wazoo is the worst team in the Pac-12 North, and they're right there at the bottom of the league with Arizona. You look at Cal. Cal has been the most snake-bitten team in the country this year. You blow a lead to Nevada on your home field and lose. You don't get 2-point conversion against TCU. You lose by 2. You lose in overtime last week when running back fumbles the ball going in to tie the game up and send it to another overtime. I think Wilcox and Garbers has played really well this year. I don't like this Wazoo team at all. I think Cal takes out the vented frustrations of the last couple of weeks, and they get a very convincing win at home against Wazoo.
We're going to have to ask our guy James, too, on that, Alex. We have a guy who pretty much
college football
expert. He only bets Pac-12 stuff. Yeah.
That's good. We love those types.
Yeah, that's his, because he's he is a UW alum, so he loves betting those games. And I'm just, what time is that one again, Alex? Because I think
that's 8:30 East Coast. It's not quite Pac-12 after dark.
I can do that. Those Pac-12
at dark.
Yeah, the Pac-12 after dark stuff, maybe I'll have a bet on it, but I certainly don't ever stay up for that. I'm just too old for that.
You got to have some action while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So you missed the best game of the year, the UCLA-Fresno game a couple of weeks ago. That was great because that was the same night as the Penn State-Auburn game, and I literally got home and put them in my garage with about 6 minutes to go in the game. So I was able to catch the final 6 minutes at about 2 a.m. After getting home from Penn State that night. So that was one hell of a finish.
That is commitment.
That's where I miss younger Andy, where I would be out at the bar with my friends and we'd catch the first half is on, and then you get home and you catch the late half of the Hawaii game or something like that. Now I'm in bed at 10 o'clock, but this one's earlier, right? This is SEC. Although some of these do end up in prime time. Mississippi State, A&M, -7 for A&M, lowish total, but I suppose we have some semblance of defense going to be played in this one. And what do you take here?
And bad offense. You look at A&M in 2 games against the Power 5 teams they faced. They've rushed for a total of 219 yards, and Zach Calzada is averaging less than 5 yards an attempt. This is an A&M offense that has really struggled without Haynes King, quarterback, and it's a bad spot. Yeah, your fans are angry because you had 10 points and a loss to Arkansas. You got Alabama next week. I don't know. This is the Mississippi State team I think is just capable enough defensively, and offensively they're gonna throw it around. And I just think it's too many points here. It feels like a spot where maybe A&M escapes with the win, but I'm definitely going to be on Mississippi State plus the 7.
Bang the cowbells a little there. I was just looking to because I just am so bad at keeping track of what time games are, and now I got excited. So there's multiple games. Obviously, the Iowa Maryland is it tonight, but there is a late
Houston,
one
Tulsa.
tonight. Wow, I wasn't going to go to Houston.
Utah State BYU is tonight as well, right?
Yeah,
that's true.
Say,
I love the Utah battles.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Was BYU's been bet up, almost to a 10 here, and at certain places it looks like it's bound to get to a 10. Can you lay that on the road? Granted, it's not not a terrible travel spot, but that's not a fun place to go play.
No, it's not, and it's a rivalry, and it's a team that was an offensive disaster last week against Boise with turnovers, and I think they had about 15 penalties in the game. I would expect Bonner and the Utah State offense to have a little bit more success this week. And yeah, I might have to set some type of alert that if that thing hits 10, just bet Utah State immediately. I still might even take them plus 9.5.
I'd take a look at that tonight. I like Friday night action almost more than Saturday. So.
There was one other Saturday game I wanted to ask you about. I will be hanging out with some Notre Dame fans, and I know I'm a little kind of out of the loop on college football, but I was both shocked to see that Cincinnati is the 7th-ranked team in the nation and favored in Notre Dame tomorrow. Do you know what to make of that? Is there something missing there that I don't know about? That was curious to see.
Yeah, this is a pass for me. Yeah, they are ranked 7th. Are they the 7th best team in the country? I don't know. Indiana really should have put them away in the first half of that game. But give Cincinnati credit for coming back, especially after McFadden got booted out of that game for targeting. Marcus Freeman, the Notre Dame defensive coordinator, obviously is familiar with Desmond Ritter and the Cincinnati offense. And I would think he would know some things that Ritter doesn't necessarily do well to kind of take him out of his comfort zone. But at the same time, that Notre Dame offense is struggling mightily. You've got an offensive line that can't block. Jack Cohen is probably going to play, but who knows if he's 100%. Kyron Williams hasn't had the type of year that people expected, mainly because the offensive line has been so bad. History says, especially under Brian Kelly, Notre Dame as a home underdog is the way to go. So if I had to play the game, that would be the way I would lean. But at the same time, the fact that Cincinnati now has been favored on the road, both in South Bend and in Bloomington, shows the respect that the odds makers have for Luke Fickell's team.
Yeah, the only other game I saw with 2 ranked teams playing each other, there was Baylor, Oklahoma State. The total was only 47. And again, I don't pay a ton of attention to college football. Didn't those used to be in the 60s?
And 70s. Yeah. But it's right for this game. You talk about a statistical oddity, and I really wish I could have figure out a way to write a program, and maybe I can figure it out by this afternoon. Oklahoma State the last couple of weeks hasn't scored in the second half of the last 2 games, and won and covered both games, which is simply amazing. But you're right. This is now a team in Stillwater that Jim Knowles' defense is carrying this team. Baylor looked a lot better than I thought Baylor would be this year last week in beating Iowa State. But Dave Aranda is a defensive guy as well. That total is low for a reason, and I could see this being like a 21-17 type of game.
Well, that's kind of disappointing update on how the state of college football is.
Kind of
I always like when those are like 40 to 50 kind of games. You turn them on, it's just like, who has the ball last?
And you had the same thing at the MAC.
That could be kind of
at
Texas
the similar
TCU,
time.
by the way.
Yeah, we had similar stuff with the MAC about 5, 6, 8 years ago, where those totals were always in the 70s. Those were all, and you'd get them during the weekdays. So, well, before we let you go, Alex mentioned a team he didn't know that was ranked 7th. Like Arkansas should be ranked 8th. Like they've
Good
been
for
good. They've
Cincinnati.
been playing good defense, but this is a hell of a test. I mean, just quick take on the game since you're in Athens.
It is. It is, and I would lean towards playing under in this game and under on an Arkansas team total. I don't know how many points realistically the Razorbacks are going to be able to score. JT Daniels isn't 100%. I think there's probably a chance we see Stetson Bennett at some point in this game. Kirby Smart in these situations against ranked teams, you go back since 2019, the 11 games they have played against ranked opponents, either at home or in a neutral site, 9 of them have gone under. So that's just the game plan, the philosophy that Kirby has in these games. So I'd be looking at Arkansas under and the game under.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that. With the possibility of a little bit of an injury at quarterback and a tiny look ahead to going to Auburn next week. I suppose Georgia might just let the defense do what they've done, take care of business, get out here with a win, head to Georgia, or get out of Georgia with a win here.
Head west.
Head west to Auburn. Yeah, the city's just Auburn, right?
Yeah, Auburn, Alabama. Jordan Hare.
Yeah, that's always confused me when the city and the college are the same name. They shouldn't have that.
Just over the state line.
There we go. So, well, Mr. Fallica, we thank you for all your knowledge today. We wish you the best of luck this weekend with everything you're on, and have fun down there at a pretty nice campus town.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, if I had to do it all over again, this would be high on the list. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah. Oh, Miami is no slouch.
No, not at all. Not at all. This one would certainly have been considered more than it actually was.
Perfect. So, all right. Again, have fun. Good luck, and thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Chris Fallica on Twitter. You know where he is.
Yep, you guys both have a great weekend as well. Appreciate everybody checking us out.
Thanks, Chris. Well, that's good. We got a lot of college football, Andy, because I didn't have too much to do yesterday, and now I'm staring at like a pile of like 7 or 8 things I'm about to round robin.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot to bet today. Golf is just kind of happening. Mito's getting hot. Varner started hot, and then he just went right off the crapper. The full tournament stuff is doing okay. I'm probably gonna have some daily stuff tomorrow. These tournaments starting right at 7 a.m. Central has been screwy for me. That's kind of when I get to work. So I was gonna max out some DFS this morning, didn't end up doing it, which I should go look at the people I had circled. They're probably doing really good. So that's how life goes. But real quick before we go, we still do have this gear. Fall is in the air, Alex.
It is. I can feel it.
Is it getting a little crisp up there in eastern Pennsylvania? It's
beautiful. We've got like the mid 60s to 70s thing going. It was like 55 when I woke up this morning. It'll be 75 this afternoon. Wearing sleeves again.
Yeah, I'm still short sleeves up here just because I got the shirt yesterday. But yeah, if you have that 7 a.m. tea time, you might want a nice soft fleece. And you can't see this because we'll get a bigger picture of this next week. That is a rope hat. Rope hats are how you win. Rope hats take 3 strokes off your game. That's proven. At least. I designed that. It's a nice Columbia fleece. And you can get them. All you have to do is sign up for a WinBet account in one of the 6 states and counting that they have their legal sports books available in, and use the promo code Betsperts1000. If you're listening to this in a podcast, go to our Twitter. You'll see a picture of this beautiful fleece and hat, and then just shoot us some proof that those things happened. You deposited, you made a bet, and we will say, hey, what size shirt do you want? And we'll send you the gear. So that's it. That's it for the weekend. I don't have much going on outside of football. I'm going to do an article here with all my bets for the week, just kind of outlining in a couple sentences why I bet everything in case people like to read rather than listen to podcasts. And with that, good luck to you this weekend, Alex.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you, Andy. See you Monday.